Canelo Alverez versus Jermell Charlo is officially underway. September 30th, they will be facing. And I think I can speak for everyone when I say this year has been the best year for boxing in the past 5 to 10 years. We had Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. We had Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. We had Caleb Plant versus Benavidez. We had Spence versus Crawford. How could I forget that one? Speaking of Spence versus Crawford, briefly, the winner of this fight will be facing Crawford most likely. Now, Canelo doesn't have that much interest in fighting Crawford, but Jermell definitely does. So we'll see how this overall goes. But this is my prediction video. Yes, this is my prediction video. Now, with my prediction videos, I already know I'm going to get a lot of flack for maybe who I choose or maybe not. I don't know. Past videos, everybody blows up the comments. But definitely hit the comment section and let me know who you guys have. Now, I break my prediction down in 3 tiers. If you haven't watched my other prediction videos, go watch my other prediction videos if you want. First is their strengths and weaknesses. Second is their notable opponents, and it's going to be matched up stylistically. So who I believe Canelo has faced in his past that match up stylistically to what Jermell might bring, vice versa on Jermell's side. And lastly is my final prediction. That's where I officially make my prediction for the fight. But you guys want to stick, don't just skip. You guys want to stick around for the whole thing to watch my strengths and weaknesses, to watch my notable opponents so you can get the reason why I come to my conclusion with my prediction. All right, now let's get started with the strengths and weaknesses for Canelo Alverez. I have first his pressure, his ability to pressure his opponents and make them always go on the back foot. At least that's the tone of the fights, especially in the later rounds. That's usually when he finishes his opponents off. Usually a pressure fighter, usually the one setting the tone, and usually the one backing up his opponents. Now, next I have his power. Canelo Alverez, everybody knows he has power in both hands. That's usually how he wins majority of his fights. It's simply because he can throw a lot of power punches. Even Bivol in his fight, Canelo did lose against Bivol, but Bivol said Canelo, almost all his shots were power punches. Now, that's a pro, but also a con in a way because, that decreases his stamina dramatically. But I have it here as a pro mainly because, he has power in both hands and can definitely get the job done. And then lastly is his defense as a pro. He has nice head movement. I'm not going to say he's the best defense of all time or anything like that, but there's definitely moments and flashes of when we've seen Canelo have really, really good head movement. As of recently, I would say his defense hasn't been like it was 2-3 years ago, but nonetheless, it's not like it was a long time ago. This is just 2-3 years. I believe his last 2 to 3 fights, he hasn't shown the greatest of defense. Granted, he did face Bivol. It hasn't been the greatest defense, but overall, Canelo does have some solid defense and some solid head movement and reaction time. All right, now for Jermell Charlo, I have his speed, his power, and his defense. Now, Jermell is one of the fastest boxers today. Jermell Charlo left hook is devastating. He's power in both hands. A lot of the times, Jermell Charlo's speed is literally what carries him in fights a lot of times, but also then he has the ability to punch extremely hard. He has power in both hands, and his jab alone is hard hitting. We've seen many clips of him. There's many fights of him just using his jab alone knocking out opponents, using a hook knocking out opponents. Jermell's jab to the body alone already gets the job done, as you guys could see here. Straight devastating, leaving the body quivering. His power is insane. Jermell does have power in both hands and uses them effectively. And lastly, his defense, when it comes to his strengths. Defense, he mainly uses a high guard, but sometimes would go in the Philly shell, very rarely, but mainly just a high guard. And his defense is pretty solid. He has great defense, great movement, nice, quick, fast. Now, as for weaknesses for Canelo Alverez, you have although his defense is great, he does have a high guard, which causes sometimes punches to get through his defense, causing him to get hit. Like in the Bivol fight, Bivol was cutting right through that guard. Bivol was slicing right through the middle, right down the pipe, So, yeah, definitely leaves Canelo exposed a lot. Now, weaknesses for Jermell Charlo. Sometimes he tends to leave himself exposed while in exchanges with other fighters, simply because he throws a lot of times, he throws wild punches. And his wild punches can leave him getting caught sometimes within the exchange. Granted, he doesn't do this all the time, but whenever he does do it, he does get caught, which can be a weakness. All right, on to notable opponents, and I'm going to be putting the notable opponents that I believe they face stylistically that matches their opponent. So for Canelo Alvarez, I would say Triple G. Now, I know you guys are going to say, Triple G does not fight like Jermell Charlo, and honestly, I agree. They don't fight the same, but they do fight similar in the sense of everything's behind the jab. Jermell uses his jab a lot and does his whole boxing ability is behind his jab and his powerful jab. And the clips you guys can see here, Triple G also does the same thing, has power in his jab and does everything behind the jab. A notable opponent I'd say for Jermell Charlo is Castaño. Castaño in the first fight and second fight was pressuring Jermell, and I think that's honestly why the first fight was a tie, was a draw, because Jermell became reserved a lot of times while being pressured by Castaño, so that would be definitely a great strength for Canelo, his ability to pressure his opponents. So, but the second fight, we did see Jermell adapt to it and find loopholes, become more sharp, become more accurate, and being able to catch Castaño while coming inside, as well as move around a lot more than he did in the first fight. The first fight, he would take a few punches and kind of like he was in quicksand, and that's to me what caused the draw. But the second fight, we saw Jermell start to move around a little bit more, throw more combinations, throw more punches, and move a lot more, not just sit there and take the pressure from Castaño. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with Canelo, which is a different level of pressure. Now, for my final prediction for this fight, hey, hit the comment section. Let me know who you guys have winning before I say this, right? My prediction for this fight, the winner will be Canelo Alverez is not winning this fight. I'm going to say it here, Canelo Alverez is not going to win this fight based on Jermell Charlo's speed, power, and overall boxing IQ. We have seen Canelo have major trouble with boxers who have overall skill. That's Canelo's weakness, if we're being honest. A guy like Caleb Plant, who's a phenomenal boxer, one of my favorite boxers. Canelo was losing the first 6 rounds, if you ask me. Canelo's losing majority of the fight. I wouldn't even say 6. I would say Canelo was losing the first 8 rounds. And not in particularly in that order, but Canelo's losing majority of that fight before knocking out Caleb Plant, and Caleb Plant's gas tank really running out. Now Jermell can fight for 12 rounds straight and have the same amount of power. I haven't seen Jermell really get tired. So a boxer like Jermell, who I believe has more skill, I feel like it's gonna give Canelo some trouble. It's gonna give Canelo some trouble, give him some difficulty, and that's Canelo's weakness, is putting him against an overall complete boxer like Jermell. Jermell has all the tools. Even Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford, they believe Jermell has all the tools. They said it themselves in previous interviews when asked about the fight. Jermell has all the tools. It's just a matter of, is he going to use them effectively? Is he going to use them accurately, which I think he will. Only way I see Canelo winning this fight is if Jermell simply cannot take Canelo's power. I think overall, Jermell Charlo is a better boxer. It's just, can he take Canelo's power? That is the question. We've seen technical fighters with great boxing IQ, slickness, face against Canelo, and honestly be winning the whole entire fight until they just cannot take Canelo's punches and Canelo breaks them down. It'll definitely be something great to see. Respect to both men, obviously, you know. But yeah, Jermell Charlo is definitely the person I have for this fight. Let me know who you guys have. Comment down below. Let me know. I'll be commenting back to every single comment, so leave a comment. Like this video, helps with the YouTube algorithm, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more boxing news. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm out.